my name is Jenna and today I am here doing a movie review. The movie I'm going to be reviewing is A Wrinkle in Time. I am holding up the book because I don't have anything from the movie. I was very good. I did not buy a collector's cup, which is a good thing because I need to save my money and they are very expensive and kind of pointless, but like I love them anyway. So I saw A Wrinkle in Time yesterday and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, which is a little bit depressing, but honestly I wasn't expecting like amazing things from the movie. Like I was super looking forward to it, but looking back I'm like, you know what, it was a really convoluted, really difficult book, so wasn't really sure how they were going to translate that onto screen, and honestly they really didn't. So I'm going to go kind of into my in-depth thoughts about why I thought it wasn't the best film. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, so don't worry if you haven't yet seen A Wrinkle in Time or read the book. You can watch the entirety of my video without being spoiled. If you have been living under a rock for the past like year, then you wouldn't know that Disney has adapted A Wrinkle in Time from the book of the same name by Madeleine L'Engle. So A Wrinkle in Time follows a girl named Meg Murray, and she, along with her adopted brother Charles Wallace and one of her friends Calvin, the three of them are approached by 3 witches, Mrs. Witch, Mrs. Who and Mrs. Whatsit, and they are taken on a journey across the stars to find Meg's father who has gone missing. In order to do this they use something called a tesseract, which is where they wrinkle time and can literally step from one place in the universe to another. It's so cool. The concept is really awesome. It's a weird book. It's really weird. There's no real thread to follow with the storyline. Like the driving force is pretty much finding Meg's father, but even that is like they go on all these other little things and it's odd. It's an odd story. So looking at the storyline for this movie, the biggest problem that it had is that there really wasn't anything to follow, and because it's such a weird and out there kind of film, like visually it was stunning and they really portrayed the craziness of it because it is such a crazy novel. They really managed to portray that really well, especially with all the misses. They did that really well. I was really impressed by it. Wasn't as impressed by the fact that they focused too much on the beginning and not as much on Camazotz. The majority of the book actually takes place on Camazotz, which is the place where they meet the man with red eyes. And this is the place where they're going to be able to find Meg's father, and they have to kind of fight their way through Camazotz. That's something that wasn't really shown very well. They also I didn't think they showed it very well. It's not how I pictured it at all, so I wasn't super impressed with that. But the storyline for such a crazy out there kind of book, I do think that they did reasonable job of adapting it. The biggest issue, yeah, is that there really wasn't a thread to follow. Like throughout the whole book, Meg was very much like, you know, let's go find my father. I'm like, this is great, but the way to get there was really up and down and just didn't really follow a clear path, which the movie did suffer for. Then of course if we're looking at the characters, the movie definitely suffered character-wise. So there was literally no reason for Calvin to be there. They really didn't explain Calvin's character very well at all. He just all of a sudden showed up and was invited on this trip. It was like, no, it just didn't work for me. And the whole thing with Meg, look, Meg was really great. The girl who played Meg was incredible. I really loved her. Storm Reid, she was a really good choice, but the problem was Meg was all over the place as well, and I think the point of the film was supposed to be Meg finding out who she is and where she belonged, but they didn't do it well. I only kind of figured that out from having read the book, so wasn't the biggest fan of that. They cut out the twins, which was really upsetting. I mean, the twins don't really add much to the film or the book, but it would have been nice to see them. Charles Wallace was adorable, but even he was just like, the characters were not well fleshed out at all. If you hadn't read the book, you wouldn't know any of them. I have to say though, Chris Pine as Meg Straub was a very good choice, and I really did like that. I thought he did, if anything, he and Storm Reid did an incredible job. I was so emotional watching them work together in scenes. It was just like, holy crap, I can definitely feel the family love through it, and that, I think those performances were incredible and I was really moved by it. I think the film definitely had that emotional punch that it was looking for, especially with those two. It just was really emotional at times, even though it wasn't like the best story and it was so all over the place and so crazy. They did really well. I was really impressed with that. Honestly, Rowan Blanchard's character though, because they made this really big deal of like, oh, Rowan Blanchard's been cast in an unspecified role. She had like 2 lines and was in it for 2 minutes. There really was no point to adding her character. It was just another way to cause a little bit of conflict for Meg in the beginning of the novel. But honestly, I mean, at the beginning of the movie, sorry, but like in the novel, there's nothing. So she wasn't a necessary character, wasn't a necessary input, so so I wasn't all that impressed by it. I think my favourite things to see were Chris Pine's scenes, not just because it's Chris Pine, who, by the way, I would totally go there even with that beard, but like I think that he really brought an emotional performance to the film, which then brought out the emotions in everybody else, so I was really, really impressed by all of that. Another thing that I have to say though is I wasn't a big fan of the way they used music in the film. You'll be watching this really powerful scene, then all of a sudden like some pop song would come on that had been written for the film, but I was like, I don't know how to feel about this. I don't think it really works, so I had some issues with that, but that was pretty much it. So overall, I gave A Wrinkle in Time 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't like the most amazing film that I've ever seen, but I think that I did enjoy it, and it definitely gave me the feels that the book did, so it did its job. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if you have seen A Wrinkle in Time and what you thought of it. I would absolutely love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.